Alright, so it is Sunday. It is art day. And here we are. So for those that are, oh, thank you for joining us, Stream Elements, delightful. For those that are new here, we are needle felting along with Bob Ross. We have been working on season 3 for a while because I don't have that much time available to work on it. So we so far have gotten up to episode 9, which is what we're currently working on. Sorry for the crinkling. It's gonna be a little crinkly. So, right, we're on episode 9, the old mill. And if you want to see the other episodes, you can go to the YouTube channel. They will be on the Nisey Needle Felts playlist. For anyone that wants to see the previous ones that we've done so far. For those that want to see the Bob Ross tutorial in full without pause, you can go and see that on his YouTube channel. There's the link to that. Sorry for the sleeves today. I'm a little chilly. It's 43 currently here and raining. It's supposed to get down into the low 30s. We're under a freeze warning for tonight. So that's fun. We have our reference sketch that we worked on a few weeks ago up in the upper corner. And we have the tutorial down in the bottom right hand corner. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull this out and get this thin enough. So we're gonna pick up where we left off last Monday, where we left off Monday. And we're gonna start to put in our highlighted area on this side that faces the water. See what we can do here. So I've got it really pulled apart here, this strand of fluff. I am currently using acrylic yarn. I use a mixture of acrylic yarn, and sometimes you'll see me pop open a little bag of roving. That's what these are. I didn't have enough roving to do a project in full at the size that we are working on. We're working on an 8x10 surface. Well, technically the piece of felt is 9x12, but we measured out an 8x10 area. We could have gone 5x7, and I even thought about it at one point, but I really don't like working that small. Excuse me. I know I've done a lot of small things before, small paintings and stuff, but I actually find it more stressful to work on a smaller surface. I actually prefer to work a little bit bigger. The only thing is, the bigger you go, the longer it does take to work on the piece, so that's why we are only on episode 9 out of 13 on this season. It's taken us a while. We probably would have been done by now if I had been doing more than one day a week when we originally started, but I had other stuff going on that we were doing, so I didn't necessarily have time to add the second art day in at that time. So we do art on Sunday and Monday right now. Alright, I'm just kind of working on getting our highlights in here. So traffic noise might be a little bit louder today, and I apologize. Nothing I can do about it. It's raining, it's wet out, so traffic noise is going to be a little bit louder. We actually had a couple of rumbles of thunder right after we got up, and we were dealing with all of the animals in the circus that this place is when we first wake up, and animal needs. Trying to put what little order we can manage to keep this place in back to it. I'm dealing with some doggos with some upset tummies, and I know that I had started putting this down pretty thin, and I still want it kind of thin-ish, but I also need it a bit lighter in spots, at least, than this side. It just wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. So I kind of start out with the less is more approach at times, and then just build it up if I need to. So I'm using a size small needle. I don't know what number it is. These needles did not come numbered. I tried to look it up on the website to get the gauge number for you, and I couldn't find it. Well, not the website, but where I got it from. I got it off of Amazon, and it was just a toolkit with 3 different size needles. It did not list the number on this toolkit. So I apologize, but all I can tell you is that it was size small. I use a single needle, and I have a wooden handle holder. You don't have to use the handle. I know some people don't. I find it harder to hold on to, and my hand's a little more scrunchy, and it gets a little more crampy if I don't. This is a little bit more comfortable for me. But you don't have to. There's like the sharp part of the needle ends like about in here, and this is just all like goes up to the handle, and then there's like a little L, bent L at the top that hooks over the tab. Some people use that little L part as their handhold. Some people use a multi-needle handle. That's going to be preference, really. I have a multi-needle handle, although the handle I have is for 8 needles. I could probably take some of those out. I don't like it because it's heavy. And it really tires my arm out trying to get 8 of those in there. I could like try to reduce it to 3 and see how that goes, but I feel like I spend more time going back and covering or redoing what I've missed than if I just, you know, did the single. I prefer the single. So I've never drawn or attempted to make any sort of water wheel ever before this time for this piece. So we're gonna see how this goes. Make sure that you're lifting up on your pad, your project off your pad occasionally. We have a mat from Wool Buddy, not sponsored at all, but hey, if you want to, let's talk. But I've been liking it so far, better than the other one I had. You okay?
Yeah, it was Cal.
Okay. I thought he was still over here. I didn't know he had left. But I ended up going with acrylic yarn as our main source of fluff for budget reasons. Budget reasons and color reasons. I don't really have the time, the money, or the energy to dye roving. Or the space to dye roving, where it can dry without too much of a problem. And roving's a little pricey when you start getting into the amounts that I go through. That's already been colored. And I wasn't really finding the colors I wanted, right? I had a much easier time finding the colors that were going to work for me and what I wanted to do in yarn. The yarn does take a little bit more prep. So if you are going to go acrylic yarn, you need to get a sticker brush or like an undercoat brush. It's a pet grooming tool. Dog brush. It's like a rectangle or a square, and there's all these little metal teeth in it that are kind of bent at an angle, and when you touch it with your fingers, it's a little bit prickly. It looks like a bunch of metal elbows on it. It's the only way I can really describe it. Let me see if I have it handy. Don't know if yeah, I do. Okay. So this is mine. Mine's probably a little big. A piece of something stuck in there. Don't know what that is. Oh, hitting shit. Don't know. What is that? I think it's just like a piece of grass or something. no idea how that got in there. Oh. So, yeah, I just have like a little kitchen skewer that I use to get in there and try to clean it. So it's kind of what they look like. They look like elbows to me because they're like bent on a little angle there. A little prickly. Don't try to brush your hands with this, or like put your fluff over your like pant leg and do it. You want to hold it, or put it on like a self-healing cutting mat or a piece of cardboard or something, because it will probably rip up whatever you have underneath of it, because they are sharp. So just cut lengths of yarn and then brush them out while you're holding on to them, and then you get this. You get it back to its pre-yarn state. Pre-twisted state, I guess, would be a better descriptor. Okay, right, we have to do the inside of the wheel next. Forgot that that's what we were doing. So, I tend to fill like a little sandwich-sized Ziploc bag, and that'll hold me for a little bit. And then when I need more, I just go and refluff more. Sometimes the yarn doesn't want to cooperate. Some people just use it like in its fluffy state. I tend to grab a piece and like roll it up and then use it. It works better for me. It's just how I've been doing it. You don't have to do it that way. You can just grab a bit and slap it on there. But I like to do it because then I have a little bit more control over it. I can tighten up the fibers a little bit. I don't know. I just find it works better for me. So if you need to shape it, if it's a little too all over the place, you can grab a little bit of water, put it on your palm, and then roll it. Not much, just like a drop or two. Usually you don't want to saturate it for this. It helps it stick to itself a little bit better and gives you a little bit more friction in your palm, so it's not just sliding everywhere and not doing anything, so then you end up dropping it. Okay, so we are gonna fill in the middle of our wheel here as best as we can. So how's everybody's Sunday going, if it is Sunday for you? Time zones and all that. Definitely Sunday here. I am still working on that speed felt edit of the lighthouse, I promise. I've been really distracted this week. I've been tired. It's been all over the place dealing with the animals and their various issues. Russell's editing pass got it down to an hour and 52 minutes, I believe. Right now, my editing pass has it at an hour and I think 36 minutes. And I've gone through about, well, I'm let's see how to word this. The final of what I'm keeping so far is sitting at 27 minutes. So I still have a little ways to go. I'm in a section that's requiring a lot of cuts because I'm working on the clouds, so I'm trying to cut out a lot of the dead space where I was messing with the fluff in my fingers trying to get it into the shape that I wanted. So that's getting to be a little bit tedious in that section. But I'm still working on it. It's just taking me longer than I anticipated, as most things tend to do. We actually had to go and put our cover on our outside faucet to make sure it doesn't freeze tonight or this afternoon. was like, wow. Alright, I'm gonna turn that. We've been in the seam spot for a little bit. Alright, so hope everybody's having a good day, wherever you are. I feel a little bad because several of the Halloween events that were scheduled for this weekend got postponed. So I don't know when they're gonna redo them. But our weekend's been just a complete washout. But we really needed the rain. We've been flirting with the drought line for a couple of months now, off and on. Not quite hitting it, but getting really close to it, so this is definitely helpful in that respect. They're saying we're gonna have feels like temperatures while it's raining of like 28, and I'm like, it's gonna rain and feels like 28. Okay. We'll see what happens with that. It was probably gonna be black ice tonight. At least on the overpasses and the bridges. People are going to need to be careful in the overnight hours. I'm not sure when it's supposed to stop raining. It's been kind of sporadic. I saw the radar before I got started, and there's definitely some freezing rain action happening over in parts of Oklahoma. I was like, oof, that's coming our way. Not cool. Not cool. But, you know, it was getting out of summer. I wonder what kind of winter we're gonna have. We don't usually get a whole lot of snow here. We get a little bit. It's probably a good thing that we don't get a lot of snow here normally, because they don't know how to deal with the roads properly here in the winter, which is astonishing, because some of those streets, man, they're scary. They're scary in non-significant weather. There's a couple roads in Fayetteville that are terribly, frighteningly steep because of the mountain range that kind of cuts into part of it. So we're kind of thrown around in some sort of mountain range here, the Boston Mountains or something. And they don't know how to handle flat roads around here in the snow and ice, let alone the steep ones. Our town doesn't seem to do any pre-treating itself. Sometimes, once in a great while, you'll see a county truck go by our house, but the road that goes past our house is a county road. But most of the time they wait until it's done, and then you might see them starting to plow. Sometimes you'll see somebody throwing sand down, but they really don't have much in the way of snow removal vehicles down here, and they certainly don't pre-treat. Nothing like they do. I mean, they pre-treat a little bit in some areas. I imagine that they would pre-treat more in Fayetteville, since they've got the interstate running through there and stuff, but, and I'm sure RDOT probably does a better job. But out here in our town, it certainly doesn't seem like it. Like, the one year we had like an ice/snowstorm where it started out as like sleet, like deep sleet, like at least a full inch of sleet, and then switched over to snow, and it just kept doing that back and forth, so it was creating quite the layered cake of snow and sleet. We couldn't get out of our driveway, and our driveway is really not very steep at all. We had no traction, and the side of the driveway that we were on, it wasn't full gravel. It's like tire tracks in dirt, but it's like compacted gravel in the dirt. But we couldn't get out with kitty litter, cardboard, nothing. We're like, okay, guess we're not going to work tonight. And they had to shut down the main road through our town because there's a banked turn to go around a curve. And it was when the tractor trailers were still using this section of road pretty heavily before they started changing their GPSs to follow the bypass that they put in to go around the town. And the tractor trailers were sliding on the banked turn into the drainage ditch that was at the bottom of it. So there was no guardrail there. They were in the ditch. Or just about in the ditch, and I think a couple cars ended up in the ditch, and by the fourth car they had to tow out of there. They're like, yeah, we're just shutting the road down. So I was like, really? It took you guys that long to figure out that you needed to do something here? I was like, right. And apparently a lot of people are superstitious around here, so they did this thing. I'd never heard of it until we moved here. And even then, it took a couple years after being here, where something about where you cut into a persimmon seed to try to predict what kind of winter it's going to be. And you can tell what kind of winter it's going to be, supposedly, by what kind of image you see when you cut into the seed. And apparently people were losing their minds a couple of weeks ago on a couple of different Facebook posts going on about how they kept seeing spoons. They saw spoon images when they were cutting into the seeds, and apparently the spoon image is supposed to represent snow shovels or something. They're like, it's gonna be a bad winter. Gonna be lots of snow. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. We'll see about that, because I thought it was supposed to be a bad winter last winter. I mean, we did have some pretty nasty cold temperatures for here last winter, where we had like -18 wind chills, which was a little rare for here. But it snowed a few times last winter. What the hell's happening? Oh, Reed. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I am Nisey. I hope your stream went well. We are doing art today. We're doing needle felting. And we are following along with a Bob Ross painting tutorial. But instead of paint, we are using fiber. You were doing painting by numbers. Nice, nice. I have one I need to finish up. I don't really have the space to work on it. I lost my workspace. So it's been difficult to to work on it. I really need to get back to it. Before the paint dries out. I've had it for a while. The lighthouse is taking you 6 months. Yeah, I've had mine like in progress for about over a year now, maybe a year and a half now. I don't have the room to work on it anymore, and what room I do have, the lighting's not great. So I've been having a hard time getting it done. I really need to. Perhaps once I get some other stuff cleared from my plate, I can get back to it. I think mine's a, well, actually, I have the picture here. Where is it? It looks like this. Or it's supposed to look like that. When we get done. We'll see if it does. We'll see if it does. So far, it's looking pretty close. I've got so much stuff I need to work on. I'm hoping to get back to painting a little bit once I get done with some Christmas presents I need to get my ass in gear and work on. If life would just slow down a little bit, I'd be able to get some more stuff done. So far we have done the first, well, we've done, yeah, I guess we've done the up to 8 tutorials from season 3, The Joy of Painting, in this manner. We have the archives of those live streams on the YouTube channel on the Nisey Needle Felts playlist. We're gonna try to do this whole season. It's taken us quite a while. Because I'm a slow worker. But we'll get there eventually. So we're working on the 9th one right now, the old mill. Oh, I didn't pin the thingy. Hold on. I knew I forgot to do something. Alright, so the link should now be pinned to the tutorial on the Bob Ross YouTube channel for anyone that wants to see the tutorial in full, because we have it in pause quite a bit. And when I do have it out of pause, I tend to have it muted just to get through what we're doing, because a lot of times I jump around. Sometimes, because I'm doing it this way, I have to jump ahead and then go back, because I kind of need to see where we're going, to see where we're supposed to end up, and then figure out if Bob's journey is going to look the same as ours. Because you can get away with some stuff with paint that you can't necessarily get away with this. So, like, where the mill is sitting, right? He did the whole background field, and then when he went to put the mill in, he just scraped it all out, and then flopped the mill down in there. Well, that would have been like a humongous waste of supplies for me to then cover it up with the building. So that's partly why we do the planning sketches first, so we can kind of figure out our placement and see where we are going to put things, So that way I kind of have an idea in my mind of, okay, well this is going to go here, this is going to go here. And that's why we start to sketch the stuff out on the, on our piece of felt here. Because it also helps keep me from getting a little carried away and being like, oh wait, I didn't space this properly. I still need to put this in and I'm like down here. So I have had that happen a couple times. So it's easier for me to have guidelines. I know Bob doesn't draw anything out ahead of time. So that's one difference that we have compared to Bob. Plus we're using fiber, so it's a little bit different than paint. It's going to behave a little bit differently. We don't have any magic white to make things blend out to a different shade. So I kind of have to see what shade he's got when he starts putting the colors on the canvas. Like, he can say that he's using, you know, alizarin crimson, which is sort of like a fuchsia-y color, but then when it hits the magic white it turns pink. So I'm like, okay, well I really need pink then, kind of situation. I really need to get going on Christmas gifts since it's November is quickly approaching. I've got one Christmas gift done. I have 3 more I have to work on. And I think for one of those I need the husband to print something out for me. And then I think on another one I might have to go through my supplies because I think something's missing. Or I put it somewhere that I don't remember where I put it. So that might be a little bit difficult. But yeah, I hope your day went well. Hope your stream went well. So Sunday and Monday we do art here. And the rest, Tuesday and Wednesday, I don't normally stream. If I do, it's a bonus stream, and it's a surprise, even to me, when we decide to do it. Because I don't always have time to. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we stream at 2 p.m. Central. Usually. Unless something happens and I had to bump to a later start time. But on those days, we do gaming. We had been doing Coral Island a bit on Thursdays. However, we had to put a temporary hold on that until November 14th. They said that they're coming out of early access and going to full release on the 14th. And that all of the current saves are going to be basically reset. Just kind of separating out this fiber on this lighter brown color. So that we can kind of get our sort of highlights in on this side of the building that are going to shine through the middle of our wheel, hopefully. So we've put a temporary hold on Coral Island until they hit full release, because I don't want to keep working on a farm that's just gonna get reset right now. So I'm fine. We can wait, because I just restarted like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'm like, oh shit. So it's like me and my god awful timing. So I'm just gonna wait, and we'll do a fresh start. When that comes out of early access on the 14th. We're actually going to do a special stream on the 14th, which is a Tuesday, providing the Coral Island full launch goes well and it's not down or anything. So we'll be celebrating our affiliate-versary that day as well. I don't have any special giveaways or anything. We're too small of a community for me to do that, but we'll at least be hanging out and checking out Coral Island that day. Full release mode. So in the meantime, we're going to be doing an extra Planet Zoo stream on Thursdays. So Friday and Saturday we do Planet Zoo. Normally, right now. We do on Friday I do a solo sandbox Planet Zoo park that I've been working on, where I have a random wheel set up with different possible things that we could build in there, and we spin the wheel and then we figure out where it's going to go after that, and then we build it, and when we're done we spin the wheel again. So that park's been going on for quite a while now, because it takes me forever to build anything. I said I'm a slow worker there. But so that one's Streamland Park. Again, that is archived on the YouTube channel. Same channel name is here. And then on Saturday, right now, we have a challenge zoo going. Where, I mean, it's still a solo zoo, but we're kind of pitted against the husband, where we're going head to head under the same building rules, same map. And we're trying to see who's going to do it better. So I stream what I'm working on Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday evening he tries to stream what he's doing in his zoo, and he's been streaming on this channel too lately, so he'll make appearances on Saturday nights. And right now, to fill the space on Thursday, I've been doing an extra zoo stream of our Saturday build. Because I'm, like I said, I'm a slow person, so I usually need the extra time, and I forgot that when he builds, he doesn't quite go to the extent that I do on exhibits. He does them a little bit differently. And even though he said he was gonna like rip everything apart last night, he still ended up finishing the current section that we were working on. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm like nowhere near done, so I either have to do a speed build this week and record that, or I have to do extra stream time at some point. And I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do. The record might be easier, but then I have to edit it, so maybe not. Then I have to find the time to edit it. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Because sometimes by the end of the day, I'm kind of done being super chatty. So I'm not sure. We might speed build it. Because then it doesn't matter if the husband's doing something with one of our friends. I don't have to worry about live streaming it. And if you hear typing in the background, that's going to be the husband's. I'm not that talented. I can't type and needle felt at the same time. That would be a hell of a feat, wouldn't it? Alright, so that's not bad. It's coming together. Okay, so Let me put this. So this was yarn from Paintbox, Simply Chunky. I've only ever found that brand on Lovecraft's website. Not sponsored. Not at all sponsored. Alright. So this is same brand. This is Coffee Bean. So I do have a video on how I prep my yarn for this. That's also on the YouTube channel. Should be the first video on that Needle Felts playlist. Alright, so I am gonna kind of sneak this a little bit. So now we need to work on our base wheel color here. And I'm just gonna try to follow my edge here as best as I can. What are you typing?
Just typing on Reddit.
Oh, you're on Reddit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought Tyler was working. Alright. So we'll get this going here. And hopefully I don't lose my outline or my shape too much. I'm gonna come back and re-outline it after we get this worked in here. We'll see how that goes. Ooh, it is chilly here. I'm gonna have to figure out a spot to place my space heater. Now that we're starting to get into the colder temperatures, but I don't know if this cold snap is temporary. That's the only problem. I mean, we've had Decembers here where it's been like fucking 80 degrees at times. The one year we still had the air conditioner going in December. So I don't know what the next round of temperatures are going to hold. I don't know if this is how our temperatures are going to be now for winter. We didn't really have very much of a fall.
I don't know, we had more than usual.
Well, we did, more than years past.
I mean, usually fall lasts like a couple weeks here. We got a solid month out of it.
Yeah. But I don't know if we're into winter now or if we're gonna go back to summer temperatures here in like the next week. I don't know if this is just a temporary pause in that madness or what. Alright, make sure to remember to lift up on your project on this mat occasionally, just so you don't become super stuck to it. I know some people don't lift up, and if you're on styrofoam or like one of the more foam pieces, you might not have to, because you can probably release from it fairly decently. This though, you can become kind of attached to your mat backing here, and it can be hell getting it to release, so you might misshapen your pad if you are a little too forceful in trying to get it off of there. So we have to remember to do that occasionally. Right. So I have a wax melter going And I can't smell it at all. I don't know if this was just a bad batch of wax melts. I could smell the wax squares. And then I put them in the burner and now I don't smell them. Which is bizarre. If I get closer to it, I kinda can. Kinda. Kind of disappointed in this round of wax melts. I might have to ask for regular smoky incense this time. Like every so often I get a waft of it, but there's so few scents I can tolerate. I'm extremely scent sensitive. Like there's a red cedar smell from Thomas Paine that I can do, but that's not in a wax melt. That's in like a Bernie stick. And then their balsam fir I can also tolerate. It makes me a little stuffy though. Kind of triggers my allergies a little bit, but it doesn't give me a migraine, so I count that as a win. And there's a dragon blood scent from, oh, what the hell is it? Wild Vine? No, Wild Berry. Wild Berry Incense Company, I think. And that one doesn't bother me. But a lot of other candle scents and incense sticks and perfume. Forget it, I can't even wear perfume anymore. Some deodorant scents will trigger a migraine for me. I have to be so careful. It sucks. Shampoo and body wash scents. I can't even walk past Bath and Body Works half the time. I'll be like 10 feet outside the store and I can smell it. And I'm like, oh god. I used to love going in Bath and Body Works too, so that really sucks. One of my favorite scents from there, when it first came out, they had it all the time. And then they switched it to a seasonal scent. So you could only get it for like 3 months. And then it just got to be such a pain in the ass to try to get. And going in there became such a trial for me that I just stopped trying to get it. I don't even know if they still make the scent anymore. And it's kind of weird because I didn't know that I was scent sensitive until, like, I used to wear perfume and loved all the smelly things, and I then had a migraine for 3 days straight, sick as a dog. And couldn't function. Had no idea what it was. And then I finally had a day where it kind of backed off. I was like, okay. And like 2 days after it had went away, I was like, oh, I should put my lotion on. And I put my lotion on my hands. And like it immediately came back. And I was like, what? So I found out that the Bath and Body Works Country Apple is definitely a migraine trigger for me. And took me 3 days to figure it out. Well, more than 3 days, but The whole time I had that 3-day migraine, I was still putting the lotion on my hands and was not correlating that, hey, dumbass, don't do that. This is causing it. Okay, so we're kind of working on getting the shape of this wheel in. Let me look at my reference sketch here. Okay. Just trying to make sure I'm not losing. Let go, please. Thank you. Trying to make sure I'm not losing the shape of our wheel too much here. All right. Had a little bit of a thin spot there, so I'm just going to lay this over that and fill that in. Thin spots, splits kind of happen. Just kind of depends on how the fiber gets layered in here. And then as you're working in another spot with the base fiber getting pulled in different, base felt, excuse me, getting pulled in different directions, sometimes you can have a split happen in near a spot that you're not actually working on. Like a split as in the top fiber will like kind of pull apart and you'll see the undercolor. It's not so bad when I'm using the gray. It's not as noticeable if it happens and I don't catch it. It is really noticeable if I'm using like a neon color. I remember I'd gotten a multi-pack of felts from Amazon. It was supposed to be 9 by 12, I think, or at the very least 8 by 10, and it was not. It was under 8 by 10. And I was trying to do one of Bob's black canvases, and as I'm covering part of it with my black yarn, I kept having splits showing up and bright neon orange showing through, and I'm like, oh shit. I was like, stop it. Just stop. That was a bit of a trial. But, you know, part of the learning process. I still have some of that felt. We didn't quite use all of it. Ended up switching to this gray tone because it's actually cut to the appropriate size, and then I can have a little bit of a border around the edge. So I have a little bit of wiggle room. So the felt that we're working on is 9 by 12. However, I took the cardboard backing from an 8 by 10 frame and traced around that to give us our work area. So that's what the size of this inner square is. But the finished product isn't always 8 by 10 because sometimes we lose a little bit, not much, but a teeny bit when we are trimming up our sides a bit. So I used to cut it all the way down to the edge, you know, so it could be framed, but now I've switched off of that and found it's easier if we take some half dowel rods. So those are flat on one side. And I glue them to the top and the bottom. The bottom as a little bit of a weight to, sorry, I had a loose bit of fluff over here. It was driving me crazy. And the bottom one is like a little bit of a weight to help hold it down. And then on the top as our hanger. It's just been working out a little bit easier, I have found. And then we'll paint the dowel rods a color that kind of works with whatever color that we've got going on into here. we do have a little bit of a gap here, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment because we're gonna do something else there. So we have this section right in here that we didn't fill in with brown of any description. But don't worry, we'll get to that eventually. What time is it? Okay. Just checking our time because we started a little bit early today. Didn't want to fully lose track of time. So I know last week I was saying, oh, you know, maybe 12 parts to this one. I had completely failed when I was pulling what part we were on off of YouTube. From the previous week's episode, I misnumbered them, so we're actually on part 10 this week. I like doubled up the numbers. I lost track of where we were. So, I don't think we're gonna finish this in 2 more sessions. So this one might be more like a 15 part. I promise I'm not stalling on the cowboy episode. Well, I kind of am, but I'm really nervous about that cowboy one. Again, I'm not sure if we're gonna do it. We'll attempt a test sketch. We'll see. That one really intimidates me. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull that off with fluff. I just don't know. It's gonna be very red. Very, very red. So I don't know if that much red is gonna work for this. I'm probably going to have to fluff more red in preparation for it. Probably. Because I'm pretty sure I don't have enough. Alright, so that pulled in a bit there. So we are going to get this kind of worked in here. So aside from paint by numbers, is there anything else you work on, or are you just doing that right now? Are you just focusing on the one thing on your streams? Lily? I think it's Lily. If you're still here. You may have had to raid and run, and I understand that. Sometimes you just want to be done for the day, or you've got other stuff you have to go and take care of. All right. So we're just kind of working on getting this wheel shape in here. We're gonna come back and outline our wheel here in just a minute and work on getting our spokes in to support it and put our little notches, shelves, buckets, however you want to, slats, I guess. Maybe slats is the better word. Our little separator guys in there to hold the water. Excuse me. Okay. Again, I'm just doing a little bit of water on my finger. That's all that is. Or on my palm. Just so that we can get this shaped a bit better. So it behaves a little bit more for what I'm looking for. Just makes it a little bit easier to handle. As we go along here. Okay. Now I think when Bob put this in, he added the slightest bit of yellow, he said, to this wheel, but when you look at it, you don't really see it. In fact, the wheel was mostly dark. I just decided to go with the same color as our building, just as our base color on it, to make things a little bit easier for me. Okay. So let's go here. Work on getting this piece in. Now it doesn't have to be 100% spot on for the shape, but we're gonna certainly try to keep it there. We can probably clean it up a little bit with our outline color that I'm using to just kind of define our shapes here a little bit more. But I also know our outline color isn't necessarily going to be our cure-all for everything here. And this is all I have of our outline colors, so we kind of have to make it count here. Alright, so we'll get this worked into here. Carefully. You okay? Sorry, just checking on the husband. Okay. So let's grab some more fluff and stuff here. Okay. So I've got this little like arm here that I'm trying not to fill in because that's gonna come across here and kind of connect into the center of our wheel. I don't want to lose that spot. Sorry, that's gonna like connect into our stuff over here that we still have to figure out once we get there. But we're not doing too bad. So we got the side of the building, this side of the building finished up and highlighted. We got the center of the wheel on that side of the building all put into place. And now we're working on our wheel itself. So we're not doing too bad, all things considered. Okay, I think we're gonna turn our mat again. Okay, so that's not too bad. Alright, I'm gonna stick this bit of fluff back in that bag for the moment. Okay, so I'm gonna grab our outliney color here. Okay, so this is the roving. I had just bought a bag of assorted colors of roving off of Amazon. So I can't exactly reorder a color if I run out because it was an assorted bag. It's one of the downsides of doing that. But it's what I had gotten to test the waters to see if this is something that I really wanted to keep doing before I invested too heavily. So sometimes with the roving you'll find bits of like plant fiber in there. It happens. I'm going to start to put our outline here to define the shape of our wheel a little bit better. It's not going to be like a stellar circle here. It's just not, because I suck at that, but we'll do what we can. We will see how it goes. Alright, that section was a little thick there, so I'm just going to twist that a little bit thinner. So my finger on the tail of the fluff whenever I'm working on this, there's a little piece of plant fiber, plant particle in there. I was trying to get it Shit, where'd it go? I lost it. Oh well. What was I saying? Oh right. So I keep my finger on the tail end of fluff when I'm working on it, because if I don't, the needle will grab it all into one spot. I just have my finger gently resting on it. It'll still grab it and pull it, but it won't like pull it in a disastrous mess. And it won't pull more than it needs generally, because there's little notches cut into these needles that grab your fluff and kind of shove it into the other bits of fluff. Kind of weaves it in there through sheer brute force. I'm not saying you really need to like slam your needle in through there. It should go in pretty easily. If you're hitting any kind of resistance, then you might need to just not tap in that spot. You might have too much fluff going on there. The weave of your fabric might be a little too tight. It shouldn't be that hard to get the needle in. If it is, then something's going on there. We almost had enough to get all the way around. Dang. Almost. So it's more of an oval than a circle, but at least it's round-ish. I'll take it. For me, that's not bad. Could it be better? Absolutely. But I'm gonna take what I can get right now. Okay. So I don't need a huge bit of fluff here. Cat, what are you doing? We have 5 cats. Two doggos. 3 hermit crabs. And 1 betta fish. Oh, and an outside cat. And a possum. That shows up to eat the outside cat's food. The outside cat is not actually ours. He seems to think he lives here and he doesn't. He just showed up one day. Cold, wet, and begging for food. We tried posting on a couple of the town Facebook pages of, hey, is this your cat? It's at our house. And no responses whatsoever. So I guess it's not anybody's cat. Or it was dumped here and nobody's fessing up. Which could be more than likely. Alright, so now we need to do our spooky guys. So let's see if we can pull this part off. And if I see any spots that look loose, I will hit those up as I'm working on this center line here. Alrighty, so we'll get this guy worked into here. Alrighty, so we might be getting a new overlay for the channel. Have to see what the husband can come up with. He talked about making one. I don't know if he's actually going to. We'll see. We will see. Maybe we can have a couple different ones. Maybe we can have like an art themed one. And then like a gamey themed one. We'll have to see. Okay, so then we've got this guy is gonna kind of sit there. And I still need to get my bag of black fluff, which I seemed to have forgotten. Hi.
Hi.
So when you go to do those overlays, can we get a couple different themed ones?
We can try to.
Okay. Maybe an arty themed one, maybe a corally island themed one.
I can try.
Okay. So we get that hooked into there. And I just want to make sure that we tack down where we just snipped from, because we'll have some loose fuzzy doos sticking up. So we've got that going there. I know it's a little off for the size of the brace there in the middle, but I think we're still doing okay-ish, all things considered. So that spoke might get covered up here. With our mechanical arm thing that's gonna come into there. Oh. There you are. I don't know. There it is. So I didn't know if it actually managed to come here. Let go. That piece of plant fiber did not want to give it up. Okay. So I'm gonna snip that. I'm gonna re-tack that down right there. Just to make sure that we're okay. Don't have any loose ends that are gonna be a problem. Alright. So, get a little bit more water on my palm here. And just start snaking this guy a little bit tighter. You know, kind of like the clay snakes that you would make. That's all this is. That's all we're doing. Probably not going to need this full piece, but you never know. So just trying to tighten that up a bit. Sorry, I saw a piece of plant fiber that got left in there, or got missed when it was going through its process of being turned into roving, I suppose. Alright, let's get this going. Oh shit, I need to message Zords. Remind me to message Zords if he doesn't show up.
I'll try to remember.
Alrighty. So we'll get this snippy snipped. That's not a bad inner part of that wheel. All things considered, not too bad at all. Alright. So now we need to work on our outer edge here. I'll just keep using this piece here. No reason not to. So this section here, we're not going to see much of our slats because they're facing down. So I might take some thin spread out sections of this color and kind of fill in the bottom of this since it's a darker tone. Just to kind of shade that in a bit. So I don't think we'd really see any slatty doos until we start to rise here. So slatty, 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 slatty. So maybe about there-ish. maybe about here-ish. Is where we'd see this might look a little funny in there, but we'll probably be able to cover that weird spot a little bit better in just a second. Like once we start to put the water in, probably won't be that terribly noticeable. So I've got some little scraggly bits here. So I'm gonna leave them scraggly for the most part. I don't want to completely get rid of our mid-tone in there. Just kind of looking for a little bit of a darkness on that. Alright, and this basically comes down to how much fussing you wanna do, right? Like how much detail you want to put in here. Get this all worked into here. I don't know where this strand is coming from though. Damn it. I got rid of you. Stop it. Oh, okay, there's where you belong. Sometimes you can find where the little tails are coming from. I have more trouble with that with the roving really than I do the acrylic yarn. Oddly enough. Okay. We got that tapped into here. Okay. So that's not too bad right there. Alright, so this stuff I'm gonna put back over here with the rest of that. So I'm going to pull off a section here. And just kind of do what we were doing on the inner outline here. Kind of making a little bit of a fiber sneaky here. A little bit of water just to kind of get that to stick to itself. Just make it a little bit easier. Okay. So I'm gonna continue with our wheel outline here, picking up where I left off on this outer edge. I'm just kind of working my way around the outer part of our wheel here. Do you have to do this? No. Am I doing it? Yeah. Why am I doing it? Well, I'm doing it to give a little bit more definition to our wheel. I feel like it's making our building pop a little bit more. So we are dealing with quite a lot of brown in here. So it seemed like it would help set some of our shadows in there. And just kind of bring the whole... Oh, dang, we're going to be that short? Just bring the whole building together. So close to making it all the way around. I'm going to need the tiniest piece. Dang. Alright, so we're going to have to... add a little bit of shading to the top edge here too. I did forget about that. Stay. All right, a little bit of water. Just gonna use that to tighten up this bit of fluff here. All right, so we are gonna work on that. Okay, so now we need a little bit of shading on this top edge here, as best as we can. So I think we might maybe take that shading to about maybe there. Just for where we're visible with our slatty guys. This is probably gonna come out looking terrible, but you know, we're doing what we can, right? You gotta start somewhere. So for a first attempt at one of these buildings, I don't think we're doing too shabby, but always room for improvement. Alright, so continue this around on here. Carry that kind of like up and around. The back side. So we still have this open here for a reason. We're not to that yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this color or if I'm going to use a different color for that. Kind of depends on how much of this color we have. As we move along, we might have enough for this color. Maybe. We will see. Okay, so now get a little bit more water. I'm going to flip the tail up there, just so the tail's not all over the place with a bunch of little tiny wispy guys. And same thing with this guy. I'm going to flip him up there. Okay. So I'm going to start to put in our slatty guys. This is going to involve a little bit of snipping here as we go. So if you want to try to make that edge that you just snipped a little more manageable, you can go ahead and add a little bit of water and twist those loose ends that you now have. Okay, and then we'll do snippy snip there. You don't have to do the water thing. That is totally up to you. You can still do it without adding any. I'm just using tap water. Nothing special. And that's why we have finger protectors on. That's what these are. They're like a faux leather finger mittens. Yes. They're called finger coats. Cots, one of those. C-O-T-E-S, I believe. They're mostly just to make sure you don't hurt yourself too badly. These needles are sharp. They can go in your finger, and there are like notches cut into them, so if you go too far, getting them out is gonna not be pleasant. Okay. So that one's getting a little unruly there. Okay. And we'll get this thing, the slat in here. We are getting our structure in place here. Snip that. And get this piece in here. I am probably going to need to get a little bit more water there. Well, that little bit of water that dripped over the project actually worked out in my favor, because as I was trying to brush it in, so it would absorb in. I saw a loose spot there that I didn't realize was there. Alright, and I guess you can really make these bucket sections as big as you want. Like as wide as you want. That's just going to be whatever. You don't need to sit there and measure that out. Speaking of the outside cat.
Really? It seems kind of early, but then again, it is cold out, huh?
Yeah, and there's nothing out there. Because we didn't have any cat food in the house.
Give me a second.
Probably because the cat food bag was in the car, so she couldn't feed him.
Probably.
Alright, that's probably like the last one I'll end up doing here. Okay. So we've got that one there. That's not too bad.
Hi, buddy.
If I could snip all of the parts that I needed to snip, it would be better. Ooh, it is getting cold. Damn. My desk is like right next to a door that goes out to our front porch, and holy shit, that's some cold air.
Yeah, well, freeze warning.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still up or not, but...
Yeah, so the freeze warning is supposed to go into effect at midnight, but it seemed like it was gonna get a feels like of freezing well before then. Hello, winter. I might need the space heater later. Brr. I have a sweater on too. Alright. Okay. So. We are gonna so I wasn't sure how I was gonna handle this, but I think maybe we'll use this color. So I need to get this to the center of the wheel. And I'm gonna take it across here. So this section's gonna be a little bit thicker. Just as we get this worked into place here. And need to I guess we'll take that across. I have some lines in there, so I think this whole thing, hang on, let me, okay, yeah, this whole thing is this color. At least this section. Okay, so let's snip carefully that side. Okay. So that's not too bad. Not done yet though, so let's see here. So I'm gonna start over here this time to fill in that side because this section doesn't have any fluff in it just yet. I'm gonna get that carefully popped into place. I need to thicken up this part right here. Because we've got a little bit of our base gray shining through there. Alright. So we'll get this pulled into the center here. As best as we can. Alright, I am gonna snip that. Okay. Alright, and we just have a little bit more in this spot. So that we can get this section filled in there at least a little bit more, so it's not quite so oddly gray in that spot. Okay. Just trying to make sure that we're actually attached in here. Okay, so now this is going to be a little bit difficult to do.
Ow.
You okay?
Damn it.
What?
The cow's being a shit.
Oh. Cow. We're gonna get in trouble. Cow, why don't you go look for birdies? of his favorite pastimes. Alright, so now we have this little mechanism that we need to work on here. I guess this thing kind of helps hold the wheel in place, helps stabilize everything. So we'll work on that. Okay, that was just a, must have been a strip that we were using last week. We can use this guy. This guy should be okay. And we'll get this guy worked into here. That's going to be the top, like, rounded nub on this side. And then we've got, how far down is this coming? Okay. So you're going to come down to about here. I mean, it can come down a little bit further if it has to. It just means we'll be covering that spot up. If it comes to it. Whatever this is, I don't know if it's stones, I don't know if it's like a little building that would like house mechanical stuff, I don't know. He just kind of threw it in there. There's like a couple of them over in here, and there's this weird thing down in here. I'm probably gonna have to do that before we do the effects on the water wheel. So like I said, we're probably gonna have to jump around a little bit in order to get that sorted. Okay. That's pretty much attached there. Okay. So, I'm going to advance the tutorial a little bit just so we can see where we're at and what we're gonna do next. So, alright, so he's got like the water in there already. I'm gonna wait just a minute because I want to see what this is. So he's putting in some shoreline on this side. This gets covered up though. So he's got that. Okay, so he's got kind of like what we did back here, but it's more green heavy. So we still have to do that. Okay, so there he's putting in what we just put in there. Okay, so it's supposed to be a stone. Okay. Okay, I thought these were buildings. They're stones. Okay. Because I was only looking at the finished piece when we did the sketch. Okay, so... Okay. He made them look like big brick slab things. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Okay, so he's got those two there. But didn't he put something down here? Or was I seeing it funny? I might have been seeing it funny. And if I was, that's fine. Okay, so then he's putting that tree in there. So it was the tree I was talking about. That kind of goes in there. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do these reflections. It's not still water, though, so I don't know. Like, you're not going to see these. Okay, so the grass going in around that. So he did add another something there. Okay. I guess kind of like a channel marker or something. Okay, so he highlighted that. Okay, something to force the water to go through the wheel. So there is another stone there. Okay. Or like a board or something. Okay. Can we get a closer look on that? Alright. So I want to do this before we get too far here. So it kind of sits here. So I kind of have these guys a little bit off in their placement, and that's fine, right? Like, we can fix that. It's just pen. Okay, so this kind of went straight across, and then kind of came down at an angle here. So this comes down into here. Doesn't come down too deep. Comes down a little bit. So then we'll have this in here. And then it's kind of like straight across here. Okay, so this guy's gonna Now, supposedly there's some water in here. We're doing this one a little bit differently because our stones were kind of sitting on the edge of the water there. So we're gonna fill this in. Grab another bit of this. So we're gonna do this one a little bit backwards from how we were doing the other stuff. Because this one is more predominantly dark. So we're gonna work on this piece. Okay, and then when we're done filling this in with the dark, we're gonna come back in and then we'll highlight that. Except he kind of highlighted it with like a lighter brown and then a little bit of red. So that's what we're gonna attempt to do. We'll see if we can make that work. All right. So we've got this getting filled in through here. You okay? Sound like something fell. Must have been in the other room. What fell?
Peabut knocked over something.
Oh. Peabut doing Peabut things, I suppose. Alright, so let's snip that. I've got something in there. Ha. I think that's the one that kept getting away. The light happened to catch it. Probably didn't come up on camera. It was so tiny. Alright, so let's finish or get back to finishing up this board here that we're trying to get in here. Sorry, my chair is very creaky. It happens. And I don't think WD-40 is going to fix that with where it's creaking, so. Okay. Work on getting this in. Need a little bit more to finish off this section right in here. Okay, so we got just a little bit more. Oh, I have to readjust here how I'm sitting. Okay. So this piece might be a little more thick than I really need, but if it does the job, all that really matters here. Although you didn't get dyed, it would seem. See, I didn't think I had it. I was looking at the strand I had in the tweezers and it didn't quite look light enough to have pulled it up. Okay, just want to make sure that we re-tap through where we just pulled that out of, because we undoubtedly disturbed what we did and loosened a few strands at the very least. Alright. So I'm gonna snip that. Okay, so we do have a little bit more we need to fill in right there, just to make sure it's not an issue later. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, well, you know, this next layer will cover it, and then sometimes the next layer doesn't cover it. And I have to go back and fill it in anyway, and then do the recover over top of it with the other color. And if we had just done it right the first time, we would have saved ourselves a little bit of aggravation. In the long run. Okay, so there's that piece. Okay, now gonna work on getting the base of our stone, I suppose, is what it was being called. Worked into here. I have to figure out how far over I'm gonna bring this guy. Maybe to about there. And we'll bring this guy down to here. So these are kind of at the same length, it would seem. Okay, so like I said, the sketches were just, you know, approximations, but now that I actually saw it going in, that tells me I fucked up putting that in there because I didn't understand what it was. Just looking off of the end product. But you know what? It's just pen. It's getting covered up anyway. So we're fine. Not a huge deal. We have readjusted sketches plenty of times before. Okay, now we're gonna run this piece, so they're not quite at the same same length, but I think that will be okay. Like, we still have to come back in and do our highlights. So that's something we can't forget to do, but I was like, we're in the middle of working with this color. So I would kind of like to get this color in place. Sorry, some loose fuzz here. Okay. I've got a little piece here. We can make this little fuzzy work. He will slip right into here just fine. Okay. So we still need to get that last guy in there. Alright, so I do have to finish kind of filling in our top piece here with this shade. As best as we can here. Hey, can you get that stuff out of the car?
Which stuff?
From Dollar Tree.
Okay.
Because we're gonna need to use one of the things tonight.
Okay.
Okay, so then I'm gonna take this over to here. And I'm gonna bring this piece down to here. Okay. I guess I technically didn't have to bring it down there. I'm gonna kind of lose the shape of it a little bit here in just a second. And we finish filling it in. But, you know. At least I kind of have an idea of where it should go for that corner piece. Okay, so like I said, we're doing things a little bit backwards from how Bob did them, which does happen sometimes. But that's what's good about the YouTube videos, because then we can go back to where we were to catch up where we missed. Okay. So we'll finish filling in this section here. And I want this to be pretty solidly filled, because the next color coming in on top of it's only going to be like suggestions and not necessarily moving in, so to speak. Okay, so we've got this piece filled in here. or we will in just a second once we get everybody tapped on in there. What's happening? Taco!
Taco?
Taco! Hey, Taco! How is Taco? It's a wild taco. How are you? It's been a while. Get settled in with your move and all. Let's do a fancy shout out for Taco. Oh, that's not the right thing. There it is. F-I-E-S-T. Nope, that's... Come on now, fingers. I can't type in these stupid things. S-T-A-T. A-C-O. See if I did it right. Nothing happened. Ah! Oh, right. Ah, damn it.
You okay?
Yeah. Forgot part of the command. After I finally got the name spelled right. F-I-E-S-T-A-T-A-C-O. There we go! No questing, just mob grinding. Oh, nice. Oh, no problem. So go say hi to Taco when she's streaming. What are you streaming these days anyway? Just WoW? When you have the time? Have you been, you refuse to stream 7 days anymore, so... Okay, well that's fair. Have you been in the WoW Challenges Discord over the weekend? What channel did she put that in? Was it...
She put it in general.
Okay. Okay. I have some sad news to pass along. Russell saw a message that Lita posted in there that Tiber passed away. Which was quite the shock to me. Russell saw the message. I was like, what? No! I hadn't seen him in chat for maybe a week or two. I just figured he was busy with other stuff. I was like, no way. Much sadness. I couldn't believe it. I didn't find out till last night. I don't know. She didn't say. The message...
Yeah, the message did not state what was happening.
The message was pretty vague, and I'm not even sure who told her or how she found out. Like, the only reason I know is because Russell saw it in general chat over there. And, because I'm not in their Discord anymore. So I have no idea. I know him and Dave were friends. I don't know if Dave passed it on to her. Or if one of Tiber's people got in contact with her. I have no idea. Because the last thing he posted on Twitter was, he's been posting his army stories. I think he just leveled a challenger too, didn't he? Because I saw on the website, I guess going back a couple of weeks because I looked to see if she had a more detailed statement on the website and there wasn't. I don't know if she did a tweet or not either. But I saw on the website he leveled a pacifist. 1, 2, the show's every 2 weeks now, maybe a month ago? Going by where it is on the website header. So I have no idea. She didn't message me directly and tell me. I only found out through Russell. If you find out more information, by all means, let me know. I still have to tell Zortz. I haven't come across him since I found out. I didn't think about it either. So much sadness. And it's crazy, right? Like, it seemed to be rather sudden. So very crazy. I think she posted that last night. There's been a couple of times I've thought about dipping my toe into Classic, but you have to have a paid sub to access Classic. And we don't have the money for that. And I
honestly think you'd be disappointed in it.
Well, I mean, I was in there before, even while I still had retail, but I think I'd get bored pretty easy. Like, I think I'd lose my patience. And I did hear that they're bringing normal writing in to retail with 10.2, but I think it's a little late for me to go back at this point. That and we just don't have the money. Things are kind of tight as it is right now. And then I'm still having plenty of fun with Planet Zoo. That's still keeping me plenty occupied. I think I made this one too big. Oh well, that's fine. I snipped this piece here. Might as well use that to fill in that section there. There's a little bit of a thin section. So we're getting there on this piece, slowly. A little bit slower than I expected this building to go. But I think it's paying off here a bit. So we'll see what happens with this. If we can bring it all together here. We still have a little ways to go on this one. So we have to finish, we have to put our dirt in over here. And then put our grassy stuff in. We have to get our riverbank in on both sides over here. We have grassy things to put in on both sides. And we have at least one tree to put in. I think, yeah, we've got that one tree to add in there. Now when I add the dirt in on what's left, we might not be that that diligent. I might have some gaps on that one. We'll see. We'll see how thick I make it. I might not do the dirt in here. We might skip that because this section didn't have the dirt in it and it doesn't look too bad. I would think closer to the water we'd probably be filled in a bit more thickly. Okay. So we need to fill in. What is wrong, Windows 11? What is this about? Oh, okay. They like to tell me, they like to alert me to something that isn't really something I need to know about right this second. So you gonna get any snow tonight up there, Taco, if you're still here? My goodness. That would be a cool. It was spitting earlier. Like, it's been raining off and on for like the past 2 days, and tonight we have a freeze warning coming in. This afternoon it was talking about, or early evening, feels like in the, like around freezing, but yet still rain, and I'm like, okay. Hopefully this doesn't like freeze to the roads and cause a shit problem in the morning. Uh-oh. Got a little too attached there. Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna tuck this into our little baggy guy here. Alright, so we need to kind of highlight this a little bit. We had some thunder earlier. It like rumbled like twice that I heard. The one I wasn't sure. It could have been a plane for the length of time that it was going on. So I was like, It's kind of like, what is this? Alright. So I need to get this a little bit tighter here. Okay, so this one kind of gets a little bit of a highlight on the top, he said. And maybe Let me bring that down to here. I'm gonna have to stop soon. I've gotta get dinner going. Silly dinner breaking the workflow. Okay, that's not even long enough for me to bother trimming. I'm just gonna twist that tail and flip that up. Okay, grab a little bit more of this guy. Real thin piece here. It's a little bit windy too. I can hear the wind chimes. Do a little bit of that in there. I'm not gonna highlight this piece too much. Just a little bit. Give it a little bit more of a beat up look to it. Got fluff flying everywhere. I don't want a whole lot here. So let's see. We can kind of get the point across here. So I'm hoping to get this color in here, and then we're probably gonna have to stop before we get the red in. Sadness. I was in the work zone too. Probably not gonna be a bonus stream tonight. We have game night with my mom, I think. So she needs to talk some smack and tell us how much she's gonna beat us at Uno and then not win anything. And then say how she's gonna beat our ass at Scrabble, and then Russell's gonna beat our asses at Scrabble. You know, those kinds of things. There's a Tetris board game I want to get that looks fun. Maybe it's trash. I don't know, but it kind of looked fun. So they're redoing, or they're re-releasing the Stardew Valley board game, apparently. That game is so expensive though. It's like 90 bucks. That's a lot for a board game, in my opinion. I think the most expensive board game we've ever purchased was Catan. That I'm aware of. You had Risk at one point, but I don't know how much that was.
Not that much.
But wasn't Catan like 50?
Something like that.
It might have been on sale. But even 50 was kind of, oh, it was painful. It hurt. We tried to teach my mom how to play Catan, and she's like, no, I'm not playing this. I'm like, it's not that bad. Once you get in the flow of it. She's like, no. She can only play Scrabble with a magnifying glass. And then she gives us shit because Russell and I will look up on his phone on a Scrabble dictionary if a word we're trying to play is a real Scrabble legal word. And then she's like telling us that we're cheating. I'm like, you can tell us what word you want us to put in there for you. She goes, well, no, then you'll know my letters. I'm like, I still can't do anything with them even if I know your letters. It's fine. It's not like I can take them out of your letter holder. And she's like, well, I want to type it. I'm like, you can't see the Scrabble tiles without a magnifying glass. How are you going to read this tiny ass keyboard on his phone? I was like, just tell us the word and we'll type it in. She's like, no. Like, okay then. Whatever. Gotta figure out what I'm doing with dinner tonight. I have chicken. I don't know what I'm doing with the chicken. I might make orange chicken. I've got orange juice in the freezer. Bought a container of orange juice and then like portioned it out. Because orange juice isn't something we normally have. So we portioned it out and froze it in some Ziploc bags. For the exact amount that I would need. So I can just pull out a Ziploc bag and throw it into the pan. Alright, so I think adding the red to that section is going to wait until tomorrow. But we didn't do too bad today. So we got the highlights in on this side of the building. We got the middle of the wheel filled in. We got that highlighted. We got our spokey dudes in. We got the wheel itself in. We got the little doodle that holds the wheel up so it has something to spin on. And then we got like the little support arms in over here and the little stony brick thingies and the little water direction blockade, or however you want to call it, is a little dam thingy to make the water go through the wheel. So tomorrow's plan is to get the red on this section in here. And then I think we will work on our riverbank coming in here on both sides. And then we'll work on our water. And after we get the river in, then we can add the water to our wheel splashing down. But we need to get that river in first so the water has somewhere to go, so it's not a mess. So I think that's what we're gonna attempt to work on tomorrow. We probably won't finish all of that tomorrow. We'll see how far we get, but that's the plan for the direction we're gonna take tomorrow. Alright. So, I don't think anybody's streaming that I'm comfortable taking you guys to right now that I know. So I think we'll end that there. Don't forget to follow Socially Dudes down below. Thanks for the raid, Taco, and thanks for the raid, Lily. Appreciate it. And the new follows also appreciate. Have a good work week, Taco. And everybody else, I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon, where we're gonna pick up where we left off here. So until next time, have a good one.